Have you ever heard a story so strange, so chilling, that it just had asterisk to be true? A story whispered from friend to friend that feels like it happened just down the street or to a cousin's friend's roommate. Welcome to the shadowy world of urban legends. These aren't just ghost stories told around a campfire. They're modern folklore, tales that reflect our deepest fears and anxieties about the world we live in. They spread like wildfire, evolving with each telling and tapping into that primal part of our brain that loves a good, scary story. Today, we were going to pull back the curtain on some of the most famous and persistent urban legends of all time. We'll explore their origins, dissect what makes them so terrifyingly believable, and uncover the very real human truths they hide. So, dim the lights, check your backseat, and get ready to question everything you've ever been told. Let's start with a classic, one that has haunted teenage lovers for generations. The Hookman. You know the story. A young couple is parked on a secluded lover's lane. The radio is playing when a news bulletin interrupts. A convicted killer with a prosthetic hook for a hand has escaped from a nearby asylum. The girl gets spooked and insists they leave. The boy, trying to act brave, protests, but eventually gives in. Annoyed, he speeds away. When they arrive at her house, he gets out to open her door and sees it. A bloody hook, dangling from the car's passenger side door handle. Chilling, right? The story first gained widespread popularity in the 1950s, a time of booming car culture and growing teenage independence. It perfectly encapsulates the parental anxieties of the era, the dangers of premarital intimacy and the newfound freedom that cars gave to young people. The lover's lane, a place of romance and privacy, is turned into a scene of potential horror. The hook itself is a terrifyingly visceral image. The legend serves as a cautionary tale, a stark warning against teenage rebellion and the unseen dangers lurking just outside the bubble of your car. But what if the danger isn't outside? What if it's already in the house with you? That brings us to another terrifyingly familiar legend, the babysitter and the man upstairs. A teenage girl is babysitting for a family in a large, unfamiliar house. After she puts the children to bed, she settles down to watch TV. The phone rings. A menacing voice on the other end whispers, "Have you checked the children?" At first, she dismisses it as a prank call. But he calls again and again. Terrified, she calls the police to trace the call. The operator calls her back moments later, her voice frantic. "We've traced the call. It's coming from inside the house. Get out now." This legend preys on one of our most fundamental fears, the violation of our safest space, our home. The babysitter, a figure of responsibility and trust, is left vulnerable and isolated. The story's power lies in its slow-building suspense and the shocking twist. It first appeared in the 1960s, and its popularity soared, even inspiring the opening scene of the classic 1979 horror film, When a Stranger Calls. It taps into anxieties about strangers, the responsibility of caring for others, and the terrifying idea that a threat can be hidden in plain sight, in the one place you're supposed to be safe. Now, let's move from the home to the highway, with a more modern, but equally unsettling legend. The Phantom or Ghostly Hitchhiker. The details vary, but the core story remains the same. A driver, often late at night on a lonely road, spots a young woman hitchhiking. They pull over and give her a ride. She's quiet, maybe a little sad, and gives them an address. When they arrive, they turn to say goodbye, but she's vanished from the car. Confused, the driver goes to the door of the house. An elderly couple answers, and upon hearing the description of the girl, they explain with sorrow that their daughter, who matches the description perfectly, was killed in a car accident on that very road years ago on this exact night. Sometimes the driver even finds their jacket, which they lent to the cold hitchhiker, draped over her tombstone in a nearby cemetery. This is one of the oldest and most widespread legends, with versions dating back centuries across different cultures. It's a tale of tragedy, unresolved business, and the lingering presence of the past. It speaks to our compassion for strangers, but also our fear of the unknown and the supernatural. The story often takes place on a specific haunted road, grounding the supernatural event in a real, physical location, which makes it all the more believable. It's a ghost story, yes, but it's also a deeply human story about loss and memory. Not all urban legends are about ghosts and killers, though. Some tap into our modern anxieties about our bodies, food, and the faceless corporations we rely on. Remember hearing about the person who woke up in a bathtub full of ice, missing a kidney? The story goes that they meet an attractive stranger in a bar, have a drink, and wake up sore and disoriented in a hotel room. There's a note taped to the wall. Call 911 or you will die. They do. And the operator, seemingly familiar with the scenario, tells them to feel for a tube sticking out of their lower back. They find it and are told they've been a victim of an organ harvesting ring. This legend exploded in the early days of the internet, spreading like a virus through email chain letters. It plays on our fears of traveling, of trusting strangers, and the medical industrial complex. The idea of having your body violated in such a clinical, impersonal way for profit is profoundly disturbing. While there are no documented cases of this exact scenario ever happening, the fear it represents is very real. It's a modern boogeyman story, warning us that in a globalized world, our very organs could become a commodity. And what about the food we eat? Think about the persistent rumors of fast food chains using mystery meat or, more specifically, the legend of spider eggs in your bubblegum. The story claims that a certain brand of gum contains spider eggs, and if you swallow it, the eggs will hatch in your stomach, releasing a swarm of baby spiders. Sometimes the story ends with the person dying or having spiders crawl out of their mouth. Gross, right? This legend targets our distrust of mass-produced food and the hidden ingredients they might contain. It's a classic contamination tale. Spiders are a common phobia, and the idea of them gestating inside your body is a deeply unsettling invasion. Despite being biologically impossible, spider eggs could survive stomach acid. The story persists because it's a powerful and disgusting image. It's a cautionary tale for children about swallowing gum, but it also reflects a broader societal anxiety about what we're really consuming. So why do we believe these stories? Why do we share them? Urban legends are more than just spooky tales. They're a form of social commentary. They act as a mirror, reflecting the anxieties and moral concerns of our time. The Hookman reflects fears about teenage freedom. The babysitter legend, fears about home invasion. The organ harvesting myth, fears about globalization and medical ethics. They are warnings, wrapped in a narrative package that is easy to remember and compelling to retell. They persist because they feel plausible. They don't happen in a fantasy castle. They happen in a parked car, a suburban home, a hotel room. The victim is never a king or a wizard. It's a babysitter, a business traveler, a friend of a friend. This connection to the mundane, everyday world is what makes them so effective and so terrifying. They blur the line between reality and fiction, making us wonder, just for a second, could that really happen? In the age of the internet, these legends spread faster and farther than ever before. They are no longer just whispered stories. They are viral posts, creepypastas, and chain emails, but their function remains the same. They are the folklore of the modern world, ever-changing, ever-adapting, and ever-ready to give us a good scare. They remind us that even in our technologically advanced, brightly lit world, there are still shadows. And in those shadows, stories are waiting to be told. What's your favorite urban legend? Is there a local story from your hometown that everyone swears is true? Let me know in the comments below. I'd love to hear the stories that keep you up at night. Thank you so much for joining me on this journey into the world of urban legends. If you enjoyed this video and want to explore more mysteries and strange phenomena, please give this video a thumbs up and make sure you subscribe to the channel and ring that notification bell. It really helps the channel grow, and you won't miss our next deep dive. Until next time, check your locks, don't pick up hitchhikers, and maybe, just maybe, don't believe everything you hear. Stay safe out there.